All right. So,
Okay,
ladies and
sounds good.
gentlemen,
Are you able to hear me?
we're able to hear you good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Cheri Kasella, the owner of Haven Home Staging. Cheri, thank you for being with us to this lunch. We appreciate you taking time out of your day. We know you're at home with kids and and running a household, so we appreciate your time. Thank you. So, Cheri, tell us a little bit about you. How long have you been in the business? How many years have you been in the business?
Yeah, so we've actually it's our 11th year this year. We just had a nice 10-year celebration last fall. You know, home staging is a relatively new industry, so I feel like for a newer industry, we have some really good experience behind us.
That's awesome. Now, has it been Haven the whole time?
It has, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And Cheri, what did you do prior to, if you don't mind me asking?
So, prior to this, I was actually in the mortgage industry for 6 years. And then the crash of 2008 happened. And but, even prior to that, I've always been a worker.
Okay.
I joke around with my 15-year-old that I started my first real job at 13 and have done so many crazy different jobs that have kind of led me up to feeling very comfortable in taking on anything.
Yeah.
So
Well, Cheri, that's part of the value that we're trying to bring here, right? As business owners, right? You serve a lot of real estate agents. You own your own business. Real estate agents own their own business, essentially. So, talk to me a little bit about that. Were you always destined to be a business owner? You said you started working out. I'm started working at a young age. Did you always have that in the back of your mind, saying, "Hey, I'm going to own my own business one day"?
I always had a fantasy of owning a some sort of retail store, whether it was clothes or furniture. Um, I actually have owned another business before.
Okay.
In the early 2000s, I had a partner and we owned Blue Ink, which was a mobile closing company that helped supported title companies during the refi boom.
Okay.
So did that for a few years and really did not like what we were doing and eventually got out of it. But I think what that gave me was just this confidence of being able to start a business and lead a team and be really comfortable with that.
Cool. Let's talk about Cheri. Let's talk about your current team. How many people are on the Haven Staging team right now?
Yeah, so we do have 8 people right now. We've had to do some cuts recently with the environment, but we've got 8 people. I can kind of run through who they are and kind of what they handle. We are a small company, so everybody has to wear many hats. So you'll see as I kind of do the run through, everybody's kind of touching everything. So, we've got Brad Pierce, who is our creative director, and he handles consultations. He sources our inventory, does a lot of our marketing pieces, and he stages properties. Denise, who you've been speaking with, is our ops manager. She handles the daily operations of the warehouse.
Yeah.
Helps me a lot with coordinating the schedule, handles our social media stages, and she's become really our tech guru and leading us that. Julie Gathman is our stylist and staging associate. She meets with clients and handles consultations. She does a lot of our events.
Yeah.
She handles our design clients and she also stages.
Okay.
We've got Charlotte and Lydia who they prep and stage our properties, but I tell you, during this time, they've really shown some of their other talents, helping us with social media. Lydia's creating blog content for us. She's put up a Pinterest page. We're training Charlotte to start handling consultations as well. We've got Corey Hansen, who is our warehouse associate. He handles our inventory system.
Okay.
He's also very helpful with our technology. He and Denise right now are building a new website. He's done some photography for us.
Okay.
So you can kind of see everybody's
Yeah.
wearing hats.
Everyone's being fluid right now, right?
Yeah, yeah. And last person, and we just hired her literally March 9th, was Emily Weigel. We brought her on as business development. So she has jumped right in and has been helping us a lot with different responsibilities.
That's awesome. So a couple of things on that. So everyone's being fluid, and it seems like the culture of your team, your organization is we're all going to do whatever it takes, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's rare to find, right? There's nobody really saying, "Hey, that's not in my job description. I'm not supposed to be doing that." You've built an organization that people are backing you and are saying, "Hey, whatever it takes, Cheri, let's do it." Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, frankly, they're coming to me with ideas. They're like, hey, why don't we do this? Hey, what about this idea? I mean, we've just started doing a lot of these Zoom meetings, not only, you know, like yours is guesting on Zooms, but we're also creating our own series.
That's great.
So yeah, everybody is really trying to think of ways to be ready to hit the ground running once things get hopefully back to normal or the new norm.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have, I really, what this has kind of done over the last few weeks is just show me the value of each and everybody on the team and really my desire to keep that team intact.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right. It's well, what we like to say in our world is, you know, that's the definition of talent, right? People who are willing to roll up their sleeves and do what do what they need to do, right? And push the owner to say, hey, we got this. Let's do this. So Cheri, let me
Yeah,
ask you
absolutely.
this. So Emily is a new role to your team. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And she's essentially a sales associate.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so up until this point, Haven really, it was all referral based. It was all uh, uh, realtors talking to other realtors or sellers talking to their friends. And even before all this happened, it was my goal this year to start pushing out and start, you know, it used to be when we first started, the challenge was what's staging and why would I stage? Now there are a lot, so many other companies out there, and showing and talking to people about how we are different and how we stand out and why they should go with us is really important for us to start getting that message out now.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I can speak personally to your team. So we work with you guys a lot and we really enjoy it and you guys do a great job. So kudos to you and your team for doing everything that you guys have built and are, you know, the way that you guys help and serve the clients are phenomenal. So thank you for that.
No, thank you. We
So,
enjoy working with your team.
So Cheri, let me ask you a question here. So the format of this has kind of been like, all right, we have to have a certain mindset as business owners here, right? And we had our mindset of how we were going to approach this business pre-pandemic, and then, you know, our current environment now. So what was the mindset that you had, that how you approached your business?
So looking at it kind of this year in particular, you know, I had just joined, I just had the ability in January to join a peer group of staging owners from across the country.
Mm-hmm.
We met there were 5 of us, and we met in January. And, you know, I had come back with so many ideas from sharing, you know, we all shared our ideas and what's working and what isn't working. And, you know, having a salesperson and business development was one of those. You know, building a new website this year. Ours isn't very old, but it, you know, technology, it gets dated very quickly.
Yeah.
We were also really working on better messaging for the value of what, haven offers that sets us apart.
Mm-hmm.
So frankly, that was really some of our goals to accomplish this year.
Okay.
With the pandemic, we have chosen as a company, it's really gray and it's hard to know. I know real estate professionals are essential business, but the stance in the staging community has been that we are not essential businesses. So we have, at this point, we're no longer staging and installing currently.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we aren't busier than ever. I have been saying the last few days, I feel like I'm working harder than ever,
Yeah.
because we've really taken this time to keep up with these goals. And what we're trying to do is just make sure that we're prepared
Mm-hmm.
and continuing to move forward. It's really easy to get into a negative space right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we're just grateful for this time because it is letting us regroup. And we just kind of have to think about that every day.
That's great. How about your team? This is you as the leader. You have this mindset here, right? That we're going together, and you talked about how great your team is. How is your are you speaking with your staff daily about their mindset, and how off and what is their current mindset?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to stay positive. I like to think I started planning for this a little earlier than most. I'm a news junkie, so I really kind of saw how things were headed. And I think when I walked in one of those first earlier weeks and said, hey, we got to get a plan and we have to think about how we're going to handle things, I think it took everybody by surprise. So from, probably that second week of March, I've been talking about the changes and what we have to do. And things are changing, at some points things were changing hourly. So,
Right.
at points we were talking daily about, okay, this is what we need to do. And, maybe we did it this way and now we have to change it. So we put a lot of, practices in place as far as how to stay safe, cleaning surfaces, cleaning our warehouse, services that early on we chose not to offer right away.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I even now, if I'm not talking to them daily, we every Monday morning have a Zoom call and talk about really how the business is.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of gets to report on what they're working on. I know what everybody's working on, but they each don't necessarily know. So it's a great way to regroup. And like I said, I've had to make some cuts, and I've had individual discussions with all of them. And so I feel like I've been pretty transparent, and I hope they feel that we're in a good spot.
So yeah, I've built real estate teams and helped build a real estate office and things like that. And communication is huge, right? You would agree with that, being a business owner. And, unfortunately, you had to make some cuts due to this, but you also made a big hire right before this as well, right?
Right.
I know you told me when we talked that you hired a sales associate that you've never had that role filled before 2 weeks before the pandemic hit. So you did take some risk. I mean, you've taken.
I took I took a risk, and I've also committed, to keeping that role. Like that's something we're going to need when we come out of this. And, more importantly, I think I found the right person, which is huge and you only hire, oops, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. We got you.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. When you only hire 1 to 2 people a year, you really have to make sure those are the right hires.
Right.
So, I feel like, even with everything that's going on, it's really, it's a value to keep that role and to keep Emily in place.
Yeah. I mean, Cheri, what we're taught in our world, right, is that it's people, systems, and tools, right? You have to have a person that manages a system,
Exactly.
and a system that helps, a tool that helps with the system, right? So it seems like you're living that every day as well. So
I'm sorry, I'm losing you.
okay. All right. Hold on one sec. We'll wait for you to come back. I'll look at the chat room until you come back here. Guys, make sure that you let any questions that you have. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts here in a second when Cheri comes back. Cheri, you back?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you good. So, okay. By the way, Stephen Natow says you're his spirit animal. That was the first chat I saw when I looked at the chat room. So, thanks, Stephen. So, all right. So, Cheri, you are unmute yourself. There you go. You're back. No, turn it up a little bit. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yep. There you go. Okay.
Okay,
So-
great. Sorry, I'm bad
right.
connection.
That's all right. So Cheri, you said that you have a lot of time on your hands right now. You feel like you're having a lot on your hands, but you're also working harder than you've ever have worked, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
What as business, most of us are business owners on this call. What are you doing as a business owner? What are you working on? Are you working on systems?
Yeah, so we're working on several things. Like, one, we're social media, just really ramping that up, and again, like adding any any types of social media that we haven't had in the past, like Pinterest. We are building that website, and we're actually doing it ourselves. Denise and Corey are building it so that we have the look that we want. We have also just purchased basically a cold lead generation marketing system that's going to expand on what we already have. Currently, we work with Salesforce. That's our main system. We last year implemented it, and we've automated our system from start to finish. Everything from contact management and collection of our clients, to proposals, to electronic signatures, to invoicing, and it ties in with our QuickBooks. So
yeah,
that
gamut. You built the full gamut in Salesforce.
we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. It was a much bigger undertaking than we realized, but it's really close. There's always some tweaks, but
yeah,
that was what we did last year. Salesforce bought Pardot, which is for cold lead generation.
okay.
So we're implementing that. Not only is it going to help Emily in her role and help us do some expand our marketing, but it also is going to help us with projects that are won. We're going to be able to automate some of our follow-ups and hopefully create some efficiencies for our team.
So as far as the business owner is concerned, again, you have people, you've put systems in place, and then now you have tools that are managing those systems, right? And Salesforce and Pardot, right? Pardot.
Right. Yeah.
Pardot seem to be the two of them, right? And they're I can tell you, I know that too, right? They're ever changing, and you're evolving all the time, but you're staying on it, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's really, I mean, Denise's role as ops manager really has become technology driven at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, technology is where it's at, right? I mean, that's the buzzword, before pandemic, I think the buzzword was technology, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's rare that a staging company is putting that type of energy and money into something, but like I said, it really is creating so many efficiencies and really allowing us to expand our marketing. Shockingly, we struggled a bit with some of our old systems, so I think Pardot, in the short time we've used it, is really showing that it's going to be a really good product for us to use.
Yeah. Well, Cheri, I mean, the relationship between, your business, a staging business, and the relationship between a real estate agent, right? It's similar, right? It's in the same ballpark of what with the service we're doing, but how we approach the business can be different. You know, I've been a real estate agent for almost 20 years now, and it's like I've operated a lot on talent for a very long time, but talent can only get you so far, right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, like you need people, you need systems, and you need tools in place, and that's how you build a business, and that's what you're doing right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I am trying to take it from, I always joke, I'm like, I'm really trying to turn this into a business and one that has solid systems in place. Even with the size of the company that we have and everybody wearing different hats, we've had to create systems in really anything we do, whether it's proposals, whether it's how we prep a project, whether it's how we remove a project. We've had to put things in place so that we're all doing everything the exact same way, and that at any point someone can jump in and take something over. So, even in our staging process, we might have, and people are surprised by this because I do know that, some companies, the person you meet handles it from start to finish. But with us, it is one person might be visiting or do the proposal. Another person could prep a project. A third person could install it, and a fourth person could remove it. And we do that all the time. And I hope, I don't believe anybody even realizes that that is how we work as a company.
Sorry, I had to mute myself because my kids are running around and I wanted to have you guys do that. So
yeah.
All right, so let's talk about for the realtors. Okay, let's talk about, there's a lot of realtors on this call. So what, first and foremost, what is the elevator speech? What would you tell a realtor to say why you should, why someone should either do a consultation with you guys with their own furniture or stage a vacant property?
Yeah, I mean, I would just tell them that, we are all about helping you get houses prepared to get in shape for a wide demographic. You want anyone to come in there and really like what they see, whether it's in person, whether it's online. Staging can help sell properties for more money. It can help them sell quicker. It creates a good first impression. So I think that, I get so many people that'll say to me as I'm talking them through something, well, does staging really work? And I'm like, well, if it didn't work, I
wouldn't be in business, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be in business. We wouldn't have a team of 10. We wouldn't have been around for 10 years. So, and I also tell them too, you know what, if you decide not to stage, that's fine, but realize that your competition is. Staging's kind of here to stay. And, that's why we offer everything from an owner-occupied consultation where we just come in and talk to them and tell them how to work with what they have, all the way up to vacant. And I feel like even with that owner-occupied, for a small investment, you can get a really well-staged property for a minimal investment.
Do you guys hear that, realtors? If you're not doing it, your competition is. That's that's a good line right there for us all to use. So I thank you for that. What about some stats, Cheri? So like, what do you have stats that you could share with us of, whether they're Haven related or just in general? What stats can you share with us?
Yeah, I'm gonna have Denise pull up this top 10 graphic. I'm sure some people on here have seen this before, but what I can tell you about stats is we as a company need to do a better job, and that is in bringing Emily on. That's something we're tasking her with. We're a little challenged in collecting stats because we don't have access to the MLS. which would be huge and helpful for us. Having a system where we can collect all that information. So there's just some hurdles that we've had, but we are committed this year. So I'm going to just show you some reasons to stage. These are actually statistics from the National Association of Realtors. So just that really stand out to me is, selling for more money, selling faster. About 50% of agents feel like staging makes a difference there. Denise, if you can roll up to the second. Oops. Denise, if you can roll up to the second page. The other stats that are really interesting is a fact number 7, only 10% of buyers can see a home's potential. I think that's huge. I think as real estate professionals, much like design professionals, it's really easy for us to walk in and see the good bones of the property and the potential of it. But most people can't. One of my teammates actually brought up a good point. Especially with couples, you might have a wife who can see the potential, but the husband is really struggling. So if we can come in and spell spaces out for people and show them layouts and how those spaces can be used, that's a big win for everybody involved. I like number 8, that buyers want move-in ready homes. 71% of buyers now are disappointed because of what they're seeing on TV.
Yeah.
So, again, coming in and what they see in media or what they see online is what they also want to see when they actually get in the home. That's why, that's why so often people virtually stage for a little while and then come to us and say, you know what, I can draw them in online, but once they get in there, they're disappointed. So having the actual staging in the property makes a huge difference. And then just the fact that, appealing to the greatest number of buyers. Number 9, 92% of buyers, agents say home staging had some effect on their client. Got
it. So go to the virtual staging for a second. That's as a realtor standpoint, that's usually kind of a quick fix, right? Like,
sure.
Oh, you don't want to spend the money. Okay, yeah, we'll virtually stage it and it will cost X and stuff like that. What, what are your thoughts around there? And again, as the business owner, obviously you're biased towards the staging, but I'm sure you have stats and stuff like that you can talk about as well. But what are your thoughts on virtual staging versus actual staging?
Yeah, I mean, it is certainly a cost-effective way of getting the property staged. But like I mentioned, so oftentimes it only gets them into the property. There's a stat out there that almost 25% of I think it's 25% of buyers will overlook flaws in the property because of staging. So 1 in 4 buyers will overlook something in a property because it was camouflaged with staging. Really? So I think that's a really important stat to remember as far as why there should be actual furniture in there. The other thing is I just think virtual staging, it's too easy to be deceptive. They don't have to do things to scale. They can manipulate photos. They can Photoshop in anything. So again, once the buyer gets there and actually sees the property, they realize, well, wait a minute, yeah. I can't put a sofa and a couple of chairs and a bench over here. Like it just it gets them in, but it doesn't necessarily get that contract. And that's what you want, is the contract.
Yeah, I mean, our job as real estate agents, right, is to be the best product at the best price, right? And yeah. So like if you go out there and they walk in and they're disappointed, right? You know, you're kind of like, they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, right? Because it was virtually
Right.
staged. So it's
Right.
that, you know, it's kind of like the old adage, right? Where, you know, I always used to tell people, hey, if you have a 3-bedroom in the city of Chicago, but the third bedroom is 9 by 9, yet, yes, it has a closet and a window, but, you know, call it a 2-bedroom den and be the best product at the best price instead of a disappointing 3-bedroom, right? You're kind of like, oh, this isn't really a third bedroom. It's too small. So it's the same sort of concept, right? Like, you know, with virtually staging, they're going to come in and they're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, you know, I get that, you know, staging is an investment. It is like a cost of painting or floors or, you know, painting the cabinetry. It is a big investment, but it's also cheaper than price reductions.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's a
You
good,
know,
is,
and with us, you can get in a month, you
yeah.
know, because our minimum contracts are 1 month, you can get in and try it. And frankly, if it isn't working, you know, get out
Yeah.
and realize that that isn't making the difference. But you can try it, you know, for 30 days.
Sherry, I would imagine, is that the biggest hurdle of your business? You know, is having the cost, as far as somebody saying, I don't know if I want to spend the money. Is that it's like, how many? I guess, do you know how many actually quotes you give to how many actually do it?
Yeah, I mean, price is our number one hurdle. um, I would say, you know, as we quote projects out, we're probably getting only about 50% of those
Mm-hmm.
quotes and actually turning those into staged projects. But, you know, and it's not just that they're not staging. You know, admittedly, they might be going to another stager who's less money. And that's, we talk about that all the time. But, you know, our business strategy has always been to try to do the best job. And that we don't need to be the largest staging company. We just want to be known as one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
And we would rather do quality over quantity. And, you know, we have lots of repeat clients and people who have worked with us for years who recognize that value. And it might not be a fit for every seller,
Mm-hmm.
but those sellers that do understand the value of a more impressive product will get those. And that's you know, I that's one of our business strategies is to be the best company. And there's been plenty of times where we've talked about, are there ways of doing what we do differently, or doing it cheaper, or providing packages?
Mm-hmm.
In the end, I'm like, we just don't do that well. We're going to be the type of company that's going to provide a package, a quote unquote package that's more affordable. And we're still going to do things the way we do it, very completely and well, because that's what we've built everything on. So we're trying to stay in our lane and just figuring out ways to do it better.
Awesome. I like staying in your lane, right? The blue ocean
Yeah.
strategy, just do what you do better.
Yeah.
Let everyone else do it. Sherry, let me ask you this question. So real estate, okay? So
Yeah.
real estate agents, most of us on the call here, it's been very archaic for a very long time, right? And then now all of a sudden, over the last couple of years, there's a ton of disruption, a ton of chaos going on in the real estate world. If you were to look at the real estate world and then kind of look at the staging aspect of it, how do you disrupt your industry? You know, what needs to happen? Do you feel that disruption is necessary, and do you feel that you can see disruption happening? And basically what I'm asking you is like, what's the future?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. And admittedly, you know, it's so funny because for years I used to say, you know, there's plenty of room in the staging industry in Chicago. And, you know, in the last year or two, there have been more companies popping up. And now, of course, I don't like it.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's it's unsettling, but you know what? It makes you work harder and figure out how to stay ahead of everybody, and it really keeps you on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
I think as far as what maybe makes me nervous in the future would be if real estate companies get into staging or try to acquire companies, or maybe if there's a company that tries to be a national company. I mean, staging companies are all a homegrown cottage industry.
Sure.
And so I'm kind of waiting for that large company to come in who either franchises or just tries to gobble up markets.
Got it. Fair enough. I'm going to go to the chat room here, okay, and ask you some questions that are being asked, and I'm going to start from the bottom. Alex Watson is asking you, how does your payment work? Is it a flat fee or a per room charge or a monthly? Or does it all depend? And also, is this something that is paid at closing or upfront?
Okay, so as far as payment goes, it is paid at the time that the property is installed. So our contracts are a little different than most everyone else. We are month-to-month contracts. Most other stagers in Chicago are a package 3-month deal, but we are month-to-month. We just believe that if it's staged right and priced right, it should sell quickly. So our pricing is all dependent on how many rooms we're doing, what rooms we're doing. Our plan is really very specific to the property. We spend a lot of time in our proposals going into each room, measuring. We really walk out of there with a plan. So it really depends on what we're doing. Our contracts are written so that you can see the pricing per room. Mm-hmm. So if it's getting expensive, it's really easy to come back and say, you know what, Cheri, we don't need to do this second bedroom, and we're going to cut out the bathrooms, and can you revise the price? But at least in room by room, people can see how the prices how that bottom number turns out and what it takes to get to that bottom number. The other thing that I just want to mention is that we do very complete rooms. So we always suggest, and that's kind of why our proposals do look like they do with it broken out by room. We would always rather sacrifice one entire room than to have someone come back and say to us, hey, can you take out, we really don't need art and we really don't need accessories. And we really come back to them and say, you know what, whatever rooms you're doing, those need to be very complete and those need to be stunning. And so we'd rather you cut out certain spaces and sacrifice those than to really do a disservice to the entire staging plan, because you're wasting your money if you're not, the artwork and accessories is what pulls it all together and makes it so special.
It's like the toppings on the ice cream, right? It's like,
it is, yeah.
Don't do those.
Oh yeah.
That's the stuff that makes it. Your top 10 list that you shared with us. Thank you for sharing with us. Deidre Bormas has asked, can you share that with us, or where can we find that?
Yeah, we can get that information out to the attendees, not a problem.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Thank you for that. So I have a question for you. Let me go really quickly. Oh, what are the best rooms to stage?
So, it all kind of depends on the property. A lot of times we kind of break up properties, condos and townhomes versus single families. So, condos and townhomes, most oftentimes we're really doing everything with the exception of maybe a second or third or fourth bedroom. Sometimes we can leave out bathrooms or kitchens, but living room, dining room, master bedroom is definitely things to hit in a condo or a townhome. Single families, where we tend to do first floor and master. So, living room, dining room, kitchen, family room, and then that master upstairs. Sometimes in a single family, we'll look at a smaller bedroom upstairs to consider. Sometimes we'll look at a lower level family room. Kind of depends on, we're really listening to the realtor and what they feel that they need for us to do to show it the best.
Got it. Last question, and we're gonna be able to, we'll wrap it up from there. Kevin Hinton is asking you, do you have any plans to pivot to a flat fee, considering the market times are up significantly, especially in the single family home market? Number one feedback we get, number one feedback we get that makes sellers nervous.
So we have kind of, again, in meeting with these other staging owners in January, I came back really with the mindset that we need to look at a 3-month contract, or at least options for it.
Mm-hmm.
We went into the spring market though so strong that we were kind of like, okay, let's stay in our lane, and also let's see what a business development role can do for our business. So I was taking a wait and see approach. With everything that's happened, it isn't something that has really crossed my mind, but thank you, Kevin, for planting the seed. It'll, there's definitely going to have to be things as we come out of this stay-at-home order that are going to change for us, and that may be, it's something I'm sure that we will look at, whether we do it or not.
Cool. Well, Emily, if you can hear me, no pressure, right? Now that we have this salesperson in place, we'll see. So she'll do fine. She's gonna do great.
Gotta prove myself now.
That's right. My last question for you, and then we're gonna wrap up. And I know I said the last one was, how are you seeing? How many homes are selling right now that are being staged? Are you being notified that, hey, what are we gonna do? The house is under contract.
Yeah, no, we probably had a dozen properties that have gone under contract. And actually we've had some a couple that have been under contract, the deal fell through, and then they sold it again. So there is definitely still sales going on. And we're just handling those as we get close to those closings, we're pulling them. But yeah, it's still people are still rocking and rolling out there. I'm getting certainly some people who are talking about that they're not having the showings, but there's plenty that are still coming off. That's
awesome. Cheri and Haven crew, you guys, thank you very much. Thank you for pouring into us today. It was very thoughtful, very, very well done. So we appreciate all that you shared with us. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for having us. We really
got it. So Cheri, if somebody has questions, or who do you direct them to? Where can they find you?
Oh yeah, they can give me a call. I'll just throw out my cell phone. It's 847-404-5133, or they can go to, thank you, Denise. It's info@havenhomestager.com. Can I also just plug our Zoom series? If anybody would like some more information about us, we're doing Tuesdays at 2. So every Tuesday we're doing a Zoom series. The one next Tuesday will be with Julie, and she's going to be talking about how but video consultations for clients who are living in the property. It's a way for us to help them get the properties ready for sale now while they're at home. And so that they can hit the ground running when the stay-at-home is lifted. And then the following week, you're going to get a sneak peek into our warehouse and talk about trends and take a look at our inventory.
Sure, that's awesome. That's great. So I will tune into that as well. So guys, we really appreciate everybody coming today. I want to be cognizant of everyone's time. Tomorrow we have Jenny Wolek. Jenny Wolek is out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. She has built a massive business, real estate business on video, and spotlighting her database on video. So she is super personable, very cool person. Tune in tomorrow to see her. Appreciate you guys all being here. Cheri, thanks again. Haven, you guys are the best. We appreciate you.